Donald Trump had the MAGA lane, had the extreme MAGA lane. And so here you had Fat Elvis, 77, and you had Ron DeSantis saying, I'm going to go to Vegas and I'm going to fill that lane, right? Why? Like, if you can't, if that lane's already filled, then do the Beatles. If you can't do the Beatles, do Dylan. If you can't do the Dylan, be Fifth Dimension. Be anybody, but don't try to be Fat Elvis. They got that on the Strip.
A lot of it.
They got a lot of it.
Hey everyone, I'm Gabe Sanchez, and welcome back to What Was That? After Ron DeSantis ended his pathetic presidential bid and cowardly endorsed Donald Trump, people from both the right and left came together to dunk on him for delivering one of the most spectacular political failures of modern times.
Teamwork.
Ron DeSantis' campaign was over before it even started. I mean, Donald Trump made sure of that when he went for the jugular by calling DeSantis a pedophile. And then Trump mocked DeSantis for eating chocolate pudding with his fingers.
Ron DeSantis loves sticking his fingers where they don't belong. And we're not just talking about pudding. DeSantis has his dirty fingers all over senior entitlements, like cutting Medicare, slashing Social Security, even raising our retirement age. Tell Ron DeSantis to keep his pudding fingers off our money. Oh, and somebody get this man a spoon.
Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
They should have called it right there and then.
Time of death, 10:15.
His campaign and its allied super PAC, Never Back Down, spent at least $53 million to get 23,420 votes in Iowa, which comes out to roughly $2,262 per voter. Oh, and free tip for anyone running for office: do not ever make your slogan something that you'll end up regretting, like Never Back Down. Because in the end, DeSantis did in fact back down.
Awkward.
And the person who called it back in November was California Governor Gavin Newsome.
And in a matter of weeks, Sean, he'll be endorsing Donald Trump as the nominee for the Republican Party.
And who could forget this moment during the debate?
You in particular, Ron, are on a banning binge, a cultural purge, intimidating and humiliating people you disagree with. You and President Trump are really trying to light democracy on fire. So, Sean, there are profound differences tonight, and I look forward to engaging them. But there's one thing in closing that we have in common is neither of us will be the nominee for our party in 2024.
DeSantis thought debating Newsome while running for president was a smart move, except it only made him look weaker. DeSantis really tried to look tough on the campaign trail by telling voters what would happen if they voted for Trump.
Donald Trump is the nominee. The election will revolve around all these legal issues, his trials, perhaps convictions if he goes to trial and loses there, and about things like January 6th. We're going to lose if that's the decision that voters are making.
He told voters that Trump thought they were stupid.
He thinks you're stupid. He doesn't think that you can realize that what he's saying is totally false. Ask Governor Reynolds.
But he wasn't wrong. Trump loves the poorly educated.
I love the poorly educated.
But DeSantis looked especially dumb and feeble because just a week before DeSantis dropped out and endorsed Trump, he said this.
You can be the most worthless Republican in America, but if you kiss the ring, he'll say you're wonderful. You can be the strongest, most dynamic, successful Republican and conservative in America, but if you don't kiss that ring, then he'll try to trash you. You know what? You deserve a nominee that's going to put you first, not himself first.
So not only is DeSantis a weak coward for kissing Trump's ring, but he's also a hypocrite for endorsing Trump after he and his wife spent months getting attacked by Trump.
Coward.
So when DeSantis dropped out, he released an awkward 4.5-minute video trying to justify eating his words and endorsing Trump.
Greetings from Florida. The warmth of being home is a reminder why I've chosen public service. Nobody worked harder, and we left it all out on the field. He has my endorsement because we can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear, a repackaged form of warmed-over corporatism that Nikki Haley represents. The days of putting Americans last, of kowtowing to large corporations, of caving to woke ideology are over.
He was immediately hit by a MAGA supporter tweeting, DeSantis bends the knee. Man, that Newsome prediction really came back to cut DeSantis like a knife. And Newsome twisted that knife when he tweeted, fire sale on all Ron DeSantis merch today.
We are laughing. We are laughing at you.
DeSantis made his bed and now he must lie in it. And speaking of beds, I want to thank today's sponsor, Miracle Made. Did you know that your temperature at night can have one of the greatest impacts on your sleep quality? If you ever wake up too hot or too cold, then I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Inspired by NASA, Miracle Made uses silver-infused fabrics and makes temperature-regulating bedding so that you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. Using silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA, Miracle Made sheets are thermo-regulating and designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long, so you get better sleep every night. These sheets are infused with a silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. No more gross odors. Miracle sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands, and they feel as nice, if not nicer, than bed sheets used by some 5-star hotels. Stop sleeping on bacteria. Bacteria can clog your pores, causing outbreaks and acne. Sleep clean with Miracle. Go to trymiracle.com/Gabe to try Miracle Sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo Gabe at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Gabe and use the code GABE to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40%. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Gabe to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. And this is when it gets fun. Political pundits and activists from the left and right all jumped on board to brutally mock DeSantis on his failed White House bid. Greg Sargent tweeted, DeSantis' implosion is more confirmation that anti-woke politics has completely fizzled. DeSantis organized his entire governorship and campaign on this theme. Now Moms for Liberty is losing everywhere, Youngkin failed disastrously, and where woke goes to die, Ron is kaput. Remember, DeSantis loves the word woke.
We will never surrender to the woke mob. We will never, ever surrender to the woke mob.
The woke mob comes after us to have our state governed by some woke company, woke agenda. And
a lot of the wokeness that we're seeing to do whatever the woke left wants to do. But then it's kind of a woke idea that
playing to the woke choir.
Not kowtowing to woke corporations. You can fight the woke elite. You can do your woke activism.
We're fighting the woke. So they are engaging in woke activism.
Called the Stop Woke Act. Woke activism. It's called the Stop Woke Act. The Stop Woke, which passed during the regular session.
Corporate America going woke. Woke cities.
We must wage a war on woke. As much as this wokeism has gotten into all these institutions, and it is a mile wide in our society, it's only an inch deep.
I think it goes back to this woke mind virus.
What I call the woke mind virus.
I'm infected with this woke virus.
Maybe if DeSantis wasn't obsessed with saying the word woke, he could have actually gotten some things done as governor and maybe, even maybe, had a chance for president.
Probably not.
Then Howard Feynman joined in by tweeting, I've covered lots of pathetic presidential campaigns, but none as aggressively, deliberately, expensively bad as DeSantis's. With Jonathan Martin tweeting, peak 2024 GOP, dropping out and endorsing the candidate who humiliated you for a year, but doing it in a web video because you're too embarrassed to account for all Trump said and did. Mehdi Hassan came in as well, tweeting, congrats to the crack DeSantis comms team, Christina Pushaw, Brian D. Griffin, and Jeremy Redfern for being unable to get their guy even to New Hampshire. One of the most embarrassing, hapless, and disastrous presidential campaigns in memory. They couldn't even teach Ron to smile. He's not wrong.
And as your president, I will not let you down. God bless you.
Governor DeSantis, thank you.
James Surowiecki tweeted, Ron DeSantis literally launched his campaign on Twitter. His campaign was dominated by terminally online people, so because Calacanis wants to fit DeSantis' failure into a pre-existing narrative, he just makes up an imaginary history in which DeSantis didn't engage in new media. I know Jason Calacanis from my time in San Francisco, and the guy is nothing more than a fast-talking used car salesman, so seeing him try to spin a new tale is totally on brand for him. Also, Calacanis' theory on people that engage with media, podcasts, X/Twitter like Trump is completely debunked. Vivek Ramaswamy dropped out, RFK Jr. became an independent, and Dean Phillips has already lost to Biden. Oh, and DeSantis' campaign announcement on Twitter Spaces with Elon Musk went about as poorly as you'd think.
Now it's quiet.
But my favorite response came from populism updates. DeSantis started his campaign on Twitter with a malfunctioning Spaces and ends his campaign on Twitter with a fake Winston Churchill quote. According to the International Churchill Society, Winston Churchill never said, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts." This is based on careful research in the canon of 50 million words by and about Churchill, including all of his books, articles, speeches, and papers. But it turns out it actually came from a 1938 Budweiser ad, which is kind of funny when you remember how triggered Ron DeSantis got over woke Bud Light. But no one should be surprised that DeSantis used a fake quote. The fascistic android is fake down to his core, including his awkward interactions.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay, don't back down. We won't.
One of the issues that waiting for the mic, if I could just put a pitch in.
So therefore, as the governor has talked about...
The governor a second ago was talking about...
Like I said in the beginning, DeSantis' campaign never had a chance. It was dead on arrival. I mean, when the CEO of DeSantis' Never Back Down super PAC is spending hours of his day doing a jigsaw puzzle while others are working, you know you're in trouble. But DeSantis was so desperate to be president that he ended up torching his political career and whatever goodwill he had with Floridians. But hey, at least he got a participation award.
What, nothing's gonna stop us?
Real quick, before we get started, thank you everyone. Governor DeSantis, I want to present to you this participation trophy. Now, it's probably not going to win the election, right? But we're proud of you for trying. There you go. I mean, he's special, he's unique, and he's our little snowflake. Thank you. Here you go. Do you want the award?
Well, that's all for me today. Thanks so much for watching, and feel free to follow me at I am Gabe Sanchez. If you liked today's episode and want to support me and the work that I do, you can join my personal Patreon and pick your tier to unlock exclusive content and perks. You can subscribe today at patreon.com/I am Gabe Sanchez. So until next episode, I'm Gabe Sanchez, and this has been What Was That?